Thank you, Madam Speaker. I welcome the progress made in the amendment, but I am very, very curious how it did not mention industrial carbon pricing and the increase of the industrial carbon price as part of this amendment, one of the most important parts of the MOU. Would the member be willing to consider further amending his motion to do the entire MOU rather than again cherry-picking the things that his caucus seems to be willing to support?
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Madam Speaker, I think we just saw the Liberal member for Calgary Confederation saying that he opposes a pipeline to the Pacific unless it includes a massive, crippling carbon tax on his own province. I would encourage him to go around his province talking to the energy workers in his riding and say that the reason he voted against a pipeline is because he doesn't think that Albertans are paying high enough taxes. He wants a higher tax on the Alberta oil sector, a higher tax on Alberta gas, a higher tax on industries that build homes or farmers that produce food. Madam Speaker, Conservatives want a pipeline without a tax. That Liberal member for Calgary Confederation wants a tax without a pipeline.
The Honourable Member for Jonquière. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Leader of the Opposition, on several occasions during question period, said that this pipeline was a pipe dream. I'm not going to try to translate the pun into French, but in any case, for once, I actually agree with him, although that's unusual. Yes, this is just a mirage, this pipeline, because serious investors know there's no long-term profitability here. Unless public monies are used to buy that pipeline. Right now, the promoter is Alberta, but there will never be a private promoter. Does the leader of the leader of the official opposition tell us whether he agrees that this pipeline will never happen? The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Well, it will happen if there's a Conservative government, because we'll get out of the way. There's only one authority that can approve or block the pipeline, the federal government. That's very clear in Part 82(1)(a) of the Constitution. It's very clear that projects that cross interprovincial borders are under exclusive jurisdiction of the federal government. According to Bill C-5, the decision is up to the Prime Minister of Canada. If he wants a pipeline, we'll get one. If not, we won't. It will be massively profitable without any subsidies. It's just a matter of giving it the green light.
Exclusive power to approve this pipeline is the Prime Minister's under the Constitution and the law. If he wants to green light it, it will happen. If he wants to block it, he will block it. As future Prime Minister, I will green light this pipeline and allow Canadians to build a pipe to Tidewater so that Canadians can be richer, our lives can be more affordable, and our economy more sovereign.
The Honourable Member for Leduc-Wetaskiwin.
Well, Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member talked about the Liberal decision to kill this pipeline back in November of 2016. Of course, the biggest beneficiaries of that decision were the countries of Iran and Russia and Venezuela and Saudi Arabia and other oil-producing countries around the world. How important would this pipeline be to accruing benefit across Canada instead of those oil-producing dictatorships?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It would be very beneficial. It would also diversify our economy. The Prime Minister has made grand promises that he would quote-unquote, diversify our trade, double exports to non-U.S. markets. Well, this is the single biggest export of Canadian goods to the non-U.S. market that you could ever imagine. There is literally not another project that would even come close to the $30 billion a year of overseas exports that this project would enable. The Prime Minister has had 8 months since becoming Prime Minister on the promise that he would approve, that we would build the unimaginable in speeds not seen in generations, and he hasn't even begun consulting on the pipeline. He hasn't even stated clearly that he supports a pipeline. So all we're doing now is taking the MOU that he signed, the wording from that MOU on the pipeline, on the ban of tankers, on the issue of carbon capture, on the issue of Indigenous consultation, and on engagement with BC, wording right out of his MOU so he can vote for his words. Will he do it?